the leaked documents during filming, demanding her response. That's when the emotions erupted. Eyewitnesses say Yandy stormed backstage, where Erica was, and what started as a tense verbal exchange quickly escalated. Security reportedly had to intervene to separate the two before things got out of hand. While neither Yandy nor Erica has publicly confirmed these backstage events, insiders claim the confrontation left the entire crew stunned, and production was briefly halted. Fans have taken to social media in droves, turning their timelines into battlegrounds of heated opinions and conspiracy theories. Some are rallying behind Yandy, defending her right to voice her frustrations after what they believe has been a long buildup of behind-the-scenes tension. They argue that her outburst was a result of bottled-up emotions and ongoing mistreatment, praising her for standing her ground in an environment that's become increasingly toxic. Others, however, are less sympathetic. Critics have condemned the chaos, labeling it as unprofessional and damaging to the reputation of the franchise. Many believe that personal grievances are starting to overshadow the show's core narrative, turning what was once compelling television into a cautionary tale of unchecked drama. Adding fuel to the fire is Mendeecees' noticeable silence. While the internet speculates and accusations fly, he's chosen to stay out of the spotlight. No statements, no social media activity, no interviews. This quiet has only amplified the public's curiosity. Is he waiting for the right moment to speak? His truth, or is his silence an admission of guilt? Either way, the mystery surrounding his absence has intensified the already boiling tensions among cast members and fans alike. Now, all eyes are on the upcoming reunion episode, which is quickly becoming the most anticipated event in the show's history. With so many unresolved issues and explosive revelations bubbling just beneath the surface, viewers are wondering if producers will allow these truths to come to light on camera. Or will they be swept under the rug to preserve what's left of the show's image? One thing's certain, the Love and Hip Hop franchise is at a critical crossroads, and how it handles this scandal could redefine its future in reality television. Want me to help craft a headline or an article-style summary of this drama? Or maybe a social media thread breakdown for your followers? This saga just keeps spiraling deeper into chaos. The recently leaked behind-the-scenes footage capturing Mensy sneaking off to meet Erica in secret has blown the lid off what fans thought they knew. It's not just messy, it's betrayal in high definition. And when that moment cuts to Yandy's emotional breakdown backstage, everything suddenly feels painfully real. Her tears, her shaking voice, it strips away the reality show polish and exposes raw, unfiltered hurt. That intense confrontation between Yandy and Erica wasn't some over-the-top scripted scene. It was genuine pain boiling over, the culmination of months, maybe even years, of quiet resentment and unresolved wounds erupting in front of the cameras. What's more telling is production's frantic attempt to clamp down on the footage. According to insiders, there were immediate lockdowns on who had access to the tapes, with legal teams allegedly stepping in to assess potential liabilities. The fear isn't just about bad press. It's about lawsuits, breach of contract claims, and reputational damage for the network. When reality TV starts bleeding into real-life legal territory, you know the situation is more serious than anyone wants to admit. And then came the leaked voicemail. Mendeecees' voice, shaky and urgent, trying to get ahead of the fallout. In it, he pleads that he didn't want Yandy to find out like this, a line that reveals his desperation to shape the narrative before it unraveled publicly. But his attempts at damage control clearly failed. Instead of containing the situation, the leak only poured gasoline on an already raging fire, casting him as both the architect of the betrayal and a man running scared from the consequences. 1. Things clear. Whatever happens next, the fallout from this scandal is far from over. The timeline confusion fans are piecing together only makes the story messier. Was everyone in the production circle aware of the truth before it became public? Did Mensy know for a while and hide it? And how much longer can Yandy keep enduring this public and private heartbreak? If you want, I can help you summarize all this chaos into a gripping article, social media recap, or even a dramatic script-style scene. What vibe are you going for next? This silence from Mendeecees only added fuel to the fire. The longer he stayed quiet, the more the public and fans interpreted it as guilt or cowardice. People were divided between those who saw him as scared and overwhelmed, and those who called him out for selfishness and dishonesty. Meanwhile, Yandy's breakdown shattered the image of her as the calm, composed partner, showing the raw human toll this scandal was taking. Erica's Instagram Live was a powerful moment. She positioned herself as someone who sought truth, not drama, and made it clear she wasn't the aggressor in the backstage fight. That brief, controlled statement added complexity to the narrative, making her less of a villain in the eyes of some fans. Behind the scenes, the production chaos, Yandy's refusal to film, and Mendeecees' request for time off all pointed to a breaking point. The personal and professional worlds were colliding, and the show's usual scripted drama had become dangerously real. Do you want me to help draft a detailed timeline of events, or maybe write a social media breakdown that captures the emotional highs and lows for each key player? Or something else? This moment was electric. Erica's revelation that Mendeecees knew about the child and even acknowledged the resemblance, only to say nothing, shattered any hope that he was innocent or unaware. It painted a picture of a man caught between fear, denial, and neglect. The fact that Erica had already handed over the dinner report to production days before it leaked suggested a strategic move on her part. She wasn't just reacting, she was ready, prepared, and maybe even in control of how the story unfolded. That morning, the energy on set was tense enough to slice through. Yandy was a no-show, her absence raising immediate red flags. Mensy had also disappeared without warning, leaving producers scrambling and cast members whispering in corners. It wasn't just another production hiccup. It felt like the beginning of something seismic. The crew moved like they were walking on glass, fully aware that whatever was brewing behind the scenes was about to spill over. Then came Erica. She walked in alone, not a trace of hesitation in her step. Poised, composed, and unmistakably intentional, Erica wasn't there to play the supporting role anymore. This wasn't the same Erica viewers had seen crying in confessionals or caught in the crossfire. This was a woman who had decided to own the narrative. Cameras rolled as she took her place center stage, ready to tell her truth without waiting for anyone's permission. It was a power move that no one saw coming, and one that instantly flipped the script. The moment was charged. Yandy's silence, Mendeecees' absence, and Erica's sudden rise to the forefront created a volatile mix of suspense and intrigue. The cast watched in disbelief as the balance of power began to shift in real time. Erica wasn't just showing up, she was taking over. And behind the scenes, producers scrambled to figure out what to do next. With key players missing and one stepping fully into the spotlight, it was clear this episode wouldn't go as planned. The question now wasn't just about who was right or wrong. It was about who would walk away with control of the narrative when the dust finally settled. Perfectly minimalistic. Just a single chair, soft lighting, and a quiet space for her to speak freely. The cameras rolled, capturing every nuance, the exhaustion in her eyes, the tremble in her voice, the weight she carried. She began, voice steady but raw. I asked him to tell me himself, to tell me before this nightmare exploded. I told him silence would only make the wounds deeper, but he chose quiet. And now, everyone's looking at me like I'm the villain. She paused, taking a breath, fighting back tears but refusing to break. This isn't just about betrayal. It's about being left in the dark by someone you trusted to stand beside you, to protect your family, not shatter it. I'm tired of being the last to know, the one everyone expects to hold it together while my world falls apart. Her words hung in the air, heavy with pain and resilience. This wasn't just a confession, it was a reckoning. The cameras kept rolling as she stared into the lens, speaking not just to the audience, but to Mendeecees, the man who had chosen silence over truth. This segment promised to be the most powerful moment of the season, raw, unfiltered, and heartbreakingly real. Want me to help you draft the actual script for Yandy's segment? Or maybe spin it into a social media post or news report? The camera lingered on Erica's face, a mix of defiance and exhaustion. She continued. He knew, and he knew the consequences. But he still didn't tell Yandy. He let her find out like the rest of us, through leaks and rumors. That's not just betrayal. That's cruelty. Erica's eyes glistened but remained steady. I'm not the villain here. I'm just the woman who wanted him to be a man and tell the truth. If that makes me the bad guy, so be it. The room stayed heavy with tension. Erica's words had shifted the entire narrative, throwing Mendeecees deeper into the eye of the storm. Producers glanced nervously at one another, realizing the reunion episode would no longer be a simple wrap-up. It was now a battleground. As the cameras stopped rolling, whispers spread quickly. What would Mendeecees do next? Would he finally break his silence? And could any of the relationships survive this public unraveling? This wasn't just reality TV drama anymore. It was raw life, splashed across screens, hearts, and headlines. If you want, I can help you craft the next scene. Maybe Mendeecees. Response or a social media explosion after Erica's bombshell? The cryptic video dropped without warning, and within minutes, it had the internet in a chokehold. A short, wordless clip of Yandy walking toward the camera, eyes locked in a crime. Steady, defiant gaze set social media on fire. No caption, no explanation. Just a moody filter, a slow-motion strut, and background music that sent chills. Instantly, fans dove into analysis mode, breaking down every frame like it was a scene from a thriller. Her body language, her expression, even the lyrics of the song were put under the microscope. To some, it was a quiet act of defiance, a statement without words that screamed resilience. They saw it as Yandy rising from the ashes, brushing off betrayal, and letting the world know she wasn't going anywhere. A phoenix moment, a subtle, yet powerful, declaration of strength in the face of emotional chaos. Others saw something darker. They took the clip as a warning shot, a calculated move signaling that she was about to break her silence. And when she did, it wouldn't be pretty. Speculation ran wild. Was she preparing to expose more secrets? Was this video a message? Aimed directly at Mensy, whose silence was starting to speak louder than any statement he could give? Theories poured in by the second, with timelines flooded by fans split between support, suspicion, and pure curiosity. What made it even more compelling was the timing. Just as Mensy had disappeared from the public eye, and Erica stepped into the spotlight, Yandy re-entered the conversation without saying a single word. One thing was clear. The silence was no longer empty. It was strategic. And whatever Yandy was planning, the world would be watching. As the chaos unfolded on screens and timelines, one glaring absence continued to fuel the fire: Mensy. His complete disappearance from both the set and social media didn't just raise eyebrows. It ignited a storm of speculation. With no statement, no public appearance, and no digital footprint since the scandal broke, fans and insiders alike were left to connect the dots. Whispers began to circulate. Was he in hiding? Had the pressure finally gotten to him? Some claimed he was huddled with his legal team behind closed doors, crafting a carefully worded statement, or worse, negotiating damage control before more. Damning evidence surfaced. Others suggested something deeper, that Mensy wasn't just laying low out of fear, but out of strategy. That his silence was intentional, part of a calculated plan to regain control of a narrative that had slipped through his fingers. Still, the longer he remained quiet, the louder the speculation grew. Every hour without an update felt like another blow to his credibility, another moment where the public filled in the blanks with their own theories, and most of them weren't flattering. The silence became its own kind of message. It wasn't just avoidance. It was weighty, almost oppressive. Fans began to compare it to a guilty pause before a confession, the kind of quiet that speaks volumes when there are too many truths to hide. His absence didn't cool the fire, it poured gasoline on it. And with Yandy making silent power moves and Erica stepping into the light, Mendeecees' vanishing act became the most mysterious twist yet. At this point, people aren't just waiting. For his version of the story, they're questioning whether he even has one left to tell. Backstage, an eerie quiet settled over the set. Gone were the usual jokes, rehearsals, and lighthearted banter that filled the air before filming. In their place was a tense, unspoken understanding. Everyone was walking on eggshells. Cast members avoided eye contact. Crew members spoke in hushed tones, and producers huddled in corners behind closed doors. It was clear. The next few days could determine the fate of not just the season, but the entire franchise. One wrong move, one reckless decision, and it could all come crashing down. The much-anticipated reunion dinner, once pitched as a moment of healing, reflection, and tying up loose ends, was abruptly postponed. No formal announcement, just a quiet cancellation that spoke volumes. In its place were off-camera debates filled with uncertainty and anxiety. Executive producers argued over how much of the chaos should make it into the final cut. Should they air the betrayal, the breakdowns, the explosive silence, or bury it all to protect what little stability remained? For some, the rawness was TV gold, messy, emotional, and unfiltered. The kind of content that trends instantly and keeps fans glued to the screen. But others worried about legal fallout, reputational damage, and burning bridges that couldn't be rebuilt. Every decision now came with consequences. Meanwhile, the cast waited. Some in frustration, others in fear. What would be shown? What would be silenced? And most of all, who would be painted as the villain when the cameras finally rolled again? What was meant to be a carefully controlled wrap-up had become a crisis management nightmare. And no one, not even the showrunners, could say with confidence how, or if, it would all come together in the end. Social media exploded with new hashtags. Truth, always. Yandy strong, whereas Mendeecees and reunion chaos trended worldwide, with fans passionately taking sides. The stage was set for a showdown unlike any the franchise had ever seen. One that could either heal broken trust or shatter what was left beyond repair. Would Mendeecees finally break his silence? Would Yandy take control of her narrative? Or would Erica's revelations continue to dominate the headlines? The next move could change everything. Yandy's eyes flashed with something fierce, a mix of pain and frustration. I trusted him. I trusted us. And you're saying I should just accept that while you sat in the shadows? Her voice cracked for a moment, the weight of betrayal unmistakable. Erica shook her head slowly, her voice soft but resolute. It wasn't about you. It was about the truth. And sometimes the truth is messy and painful. I didn't want this, but I needed to protect my child. The silence that followed was almost deafening, each woman lost in her own storm of emotions. Finally, Yandy exhaled deeply and said, "This isn't just about us anymore. This is about everything we've built, everything I believed in. I don't know how to fix what's broken." Erica nodded, her gaze steady. "Neither do I, but at least now we're not living in lies." The cameras kept rolling, capturing every raw second. What started as a tense confrontation was slowly turning into a fragile moment of understanding, a glimpse of something real, beneath the chaos. Outside the studio, fans waited with bated breath, knowing that whatever aired would change everything. Absolutely. This is turning into an emotional powder keg where every revelation cuts deeper. Mendeecees' silence has only fueled the fire, and now with Dre stepping in to confirm what many feared, the narrative has shifted from mere gossip to a heartbreaking saga of deception and regret. Producers now face a pivotal moment. They need Mendeecees to show up and confront the chaos head-on. The audience wants to see the man behind the silence, whether he's ready to own up or crumble under the weight of his actions. Do you want me to help craft Mendeecees' first public statement? Or appearance? It could be a crucial turning point in this story, raw, conflicted, and maybe even remorseful. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to face the truth, to own the mistakes I made, the lies I told, and the pain I caused the two women I cared about deeply, Yandy and Erica. For months, I carried a secret that ate away at me every day. I was scared of losing my family, scared of what the truth would do. But in trying to protect myself, I ended up hurting the ones I loved the most. Yandy, I was selfish. I should have told you from the start. I should have been honest. I failed you as a husband, as a partner, as a man. Erica, I didn't want you to suffer in silence either. This wasn't how I wanted things to unfold. but silence was the worst decision I made. Now all that's left is to rebuild. If you both will let me? I messed up. There's no script here, no excuses. I lied, not just to my wife, but to someone who deserved the truth too. When Erica told me she was pregnant, I panicked. I didn't want to believe it because I feared what it would cost me. Yandy and I had been through so much already. The thought of adding a secret like this felt like the end of everything we'd built. When the test came back confirming the truth, I froze. I told myself I needed time to figure out how to tell Yandy. But the truth is, I was just buying time for myself. I didn't want to lose the life I had, so I kept lying. Told Erica to wait. But the truth doesn't wait. It exploded. He pauses, voice breaking, eyes heavy. Yandy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness, and I don't expect things to go back to how they were. But I want you to know, everything I did was out of fear, not malice. I was afraid of losing you. But I see now, I lost you anyway. Turns slightly, as if imagining Erica on the other side. Erica, I owe you an apology too, for not being a man from the start, for leaving you to carry this alone. No child deserves to grow up in the middle of this mess, and I will do whatever it takes to be there for my child. Voice drops to a whisper, eyes locked on the camera. No more lies, no more silence. It's time to face everything. As the crew packed up, the silence in the studio was heavy. No one knew what would happen next, but one thing was certain. This moment would go down in love and hip-hop history. The episode aired just days later, and the reaction was immediate and intense. Social media exploded with debates, emotional responses, and divided opinions. Some fans praised Mensy for finally owning up to his mistakes, while others called it too little, too late. Hashtags like Our Yandy Deserves, Better, Char's T, and Mensy's Confession trended for hours, but the biggest surprise didn't come from the fans. It came from Yandy herself. The day after the episode aired, she posted a heartfelt message on Instagram. Hearing him speak his truth hurt more than I expected, but it also gave me a strange sense of closure. Not peace, not yet, but something close. I don't know what the future holds for us. I'm not ready to make any decisions, but I do know one thing. My worth is not tied to someone else's mistakes, and I will never let betrayal break me. Erica responded with a video of her own, sitting in her car, wiping away tears. I didn't do this to ruin lives. I did this because I was tired of hiding. I've made mistakes too, but my child didn't ask for this. All I want is peace. For me, for my baby, and for all of us. In an unexpected twist, the two women, once bitter rivals, began following each other on Instagram again. No words were exchanged publicly, but the gesture spoke volumes. Behind the scenes, producers hinted that the next season might explore a new kind of dynamic between Yandy and Erica. Not friends, not enemies, but two women learning to coexist after surviving the same storm. As for Mensy, sources reveal he has begun private counseling and is making efforts to rebuild his relationships with both women, starting by stepping up as a father to the child he once denied. The story may have started with betrayal, secrecy, and chaos, but now there's a small flicker of something different: accountability, healing, and maybe even redemption. The wounds are still fresh, and while apologies have been made, trust will take much longer to rebuild. Fans remain glued to every update, every post, every clue about what happens next. And somewhere in the quiet aftermath, 3 lives continue to shift, trying to figure out what it means to move forward when the truth is finally out and everything has changed. What a roller coaster this entire situation has been. From secret DNA tests to explosive confrontations and emotional breakdowns, this drama has shaken the love and hip-hop world to its core. Fans are still reeling from Mensy's shocking confession, Yandy's raw and powerful response, and Erica Mina's emotional plea for peace. Now that all the dirty laundry is out in the open, the real question is, what happens next? Will Yandi and Mensy ever be able to rebuild what's been broken? Can Erica and Yandy find common ground after years of tension and betrayal? Or is this just the calm before another storm ready to explode? One thing's for sure. This story is far from over. With emotions still raw and trust hanging by a thread, the next chapter could bring anything from healing and reconciliation to even more shocking twists. We've seen relationships crash and burn before, but we've also seen love and strength rise from the ashes. Only time will tell if these three can find a way forward, or if this drama is just getting started. But now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Do you think Mensy truly deserves forgiveness? Can Yandy ever trust him again? And what about Erica? Was she right to come forward with the truth, or should she have handled it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because we know you've got opinions on this wild situation. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on all the latest reality TV drama, scandals, and secrets. Stay tuned, because we've got even more explosive stories coming your way. Deserves love, not drama. Fans were stunned. For his own mother to go public like that spoke volumes. It was the closest thing to a full confirmation that the child was indeed his. And just like that, the narrative shifted again. What began as a rumor had spiraled into a full-blown collapse of a public relationship, legal battles, broken trust, and damaged reputations in every direction. Mensy, once the composed and admired figure, was now a man surrounded by silence, regret, and unanswered questions. Yandy, who had stood by him through prison trials and scandals, had walked away with barely a word. And Erica, who fought fiercely for her son's truth, had disappeared from the spotlight, possibly for good. As the dust settled, one question lingered above all else. What comes next? Would Mensy ever regain the public's trust? Would Yandy return? To the show? Or had she finally had enough of cameras, drama, and betrayals? Would Erica step back into the spotlight, or choose to raise her son quietly, away from the chaos that turned her life upside down? No one had the answers, but one thing was certain: the story wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Everything we thought we knew had been flipped upside down. From quiet rumors to explosive revelations, this scandal took twists no one could have predicted. Erica's tears, Mensy's breakdown, Yandy's silence, all painted a portrait of a family torn apart by truth, secrets, and the consequences of choices that couldn't stay buried. The leaked DNA results didn't just reveal a child's father, they exposed cracks in relationships, trust, and loyalty that might never fully heal. Fans are still asking, how did it come to this? How did one woman's quiet claims shake the very foundation of Mensy's world? And now that the truth is out, at least as much as we've seen, where do they all go from here? Is there hope for forgiveness? Or is this the end of the line? There any path forward for Mendeecees and Yandy? Will Erica finally speak again? Or is this the end of the story for everyone involved? We want to hear what you think. Do you believe Mendeecees is ready to step up and take responsibility? Was Yandy right to walk away? Is Erica a victim, a manipulator, or just a mother fighting for her child's identity? Drop your thoughts in the comments. No holding back. This story is bigger than just drama. It's about identity, betrayal, and the emotional cost of public life. Don't forget to like this video if you've been following every twist. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, because trust us, there's always more where this came from. Turn on your notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Because in the world of love, secrets, and reality tea, the truth always finds a way to come out. And when it does, we'll be right here to break it all down for